Alright, this video is like a week and a half overdue, so let's just cut the shit and begin, okay? Why the fuck did you make that Mega Man video? That was created as a result of a 2 AM Discord conversation. I do not regret asking Mui to draw that image for me, and above all else, I'm not sorry and I'd do it again. What is the single dumbest and or funniest issue that came up during the development of either of your Smash mods? And have you checked out Splatoon 3 yet? If so, what's your favorite weapon? It's been a hot minute since I developed the original garbage in Smash 4, so details might be a bit blurry, but bear with me. So when editing move code in Smash 4, we used a program which I believe was called Smash Command, which let us open up scripts to edit them and whatnot. Now, for some fucking reason, trying to make any sort of adjustment to Ness's forward air would crash the fucking game. Shit, you didn't even have to make any changes. Doing so much as opening up the script in Smash Command would make the move crash, even if you didn't change anything. To this day, I have no idea why that happened. The move doesn't even have any weird flags or properties with it. It's the same as any other aerial. But that would probably be the dumbest issue I've ever faced. Now, the funniest issue would probably be me accidentally giving Game & Watch aerial landmines. All I wanted to do was make the bomb explode instantly, but for some reason the bomb's hitbox still lingered long after it exploded, effectively turning it into aerial C4, and then I kept it in as a feature because I thought it was funny. Even more amusing is that apparently only happened because the old coding framework that we used to make code edits was super buggy and unstable, and it somehow caused that to happen. When we switched over to coding in Smashline, the bug got fixed and the remote bombs were gone, and I was sad. But luckily I managed to recreate it, and this time they're actually visible, so all's well that ends well. As for those other two, I didn't buy Splatoon 3, but I played it at a friend's house for like 20 minutes. I liked the sword weapon where you just slash ink everywhere. I took it into a match and got my ass kicked. It's pretty fun. What's your favorite thing about the Mother series, and what other games have you played recently? This mainly applies to Mother 3, but I love how it's able to balance being goofy and having serious emotional moments without it being jarring, or at least without having one being completely downplayed by the other. As for other games lately, I haven't been playing too much. Been quite busy in between school, working over the summer, and of course garbage. Though notably, I've been chipping away at the Mega Man Zero ZX collection, as well as replayed the Portal games for the first time in years. Fucked around with Melty Blood for a little while though, but I haven't touched it in a minute. Do you play much of any RPGs? If so, what are some of your favorites? Aside from my obvious pick for favorite RPG, I'd say Chrono Trigger, Xenoblade 1, and Dragon Quest XI are up there. Thoughts on Bruno Mars SpongeBob? I should probably offer some explanation in the event that this video goes outside my target audience. This question is referring to this fucking image. For 3 goddamn years now, it's been a meme/tradition to post this image daily, sometimes with multiple members at once keeping up a streak of daily Bruno Mars SpongeBob posting. So for this section I was gonna hallmark important dates in Bruno Mars SpongeBob posting history, but I realized that there's enough content here for an entire video. However, I can't talk about this without giving Lurker a special shout out, because on October 15th in the year 2022, he successfully completed an entire year of posting this stupid ass image every single day. And if you're watching this, you have my utmost respect for sticking to it for that long. Anyway, yeah, I might just make a whole history of Bruno Mars SpongeBob posting video soon. Oh, I never talked about the actual image itself, did I? Bruno Mars SpongeBob is an image that confuses me on every single level. Like, why was this even created? Why did the artist specifically choose SpongeBob out of all characters to draw as Bruno Mars? Am I missing something? Do they know something I don't? Perhaps I'll never know the answer. And you know what? I'm fine with that. However, from the beginning, something about the image always bugged me, and I didn't know what it was until just recently. It's his fucking teeth. Something about SpongeBob having regular-ass teeth just looks incredibly off. But yeah, that's why the fucker's in my channel banner, despite never appearing in any of my videos before. So I guess this video marks his official debut on the channel. I am going to kill you with a rock. Ness, Earthbound. One of the greatest and most attractive characters ever thought up. He can teleport at sound speed, take out enemies with a flash, and best of all, he's rockin' and knows how to handle the females. Speaking of females, the Mother Universe might also be classified as Hot Chick Heaven, because they're such a mess of very beautiful and tough women that it'll make you love the franchise even more. No, fuck you, I'm not doing this, you can't make me. Not now, anyway. Just you fucking wait, Alex. Now that Smash Bros is over with DLC and future updates, what are your opinions on the DLC fighters that we did get? In a purely non-gameplay sense, I'm pretty mixed with what we got. There are some reveals that got me stoked, but then there were a bunch that just didn't really do anything for me. I still remember Joker being announced during the Game Awards the night before the game actually came out. Now, I don't even give a shit about Persona, but that was a pretty big reveal to just come out of fucking nowhere. As far as raw surprise factor goes, only Steve and Sephiroth can really compare. Hero, Banjo, Terry, and Kazuya all kind of fall in the camp of, yeah, pretty cool I guess. Byleth was the 8th Fire Emblem character. Do I need to elaborate how I feel? Min Min I was pretty neutral on, because by the time she was announced, we knew that the next DLC would be an ARMS character for like 3 months, so couldn't really disappoint me a second time. Pyra and Mithra was pretty underwhelming too, and to quote Scott the Woz, you can put any character you want in and you chose no dignity. And regarding Sora, I know last year I said I was initially a little upset when in Call with my friends, but I eventually mellowed down and came to like him. Well, I am proud to announce that I have changed my mind. Fuck this stupid ass Mickey Mouse ass character, and this game was better when Disney's name wasn't in the copyright section. Now, moving on to their gameplay, Sora has no sauce whatsoever. All Sora players do is run around, spam they projectiles, use side B, eat hot chip and lie. Legit one of the most boring characters to watch. Banjo is so bland and such a nothing character that I'm honestly impressed at how they managed to do that. Byleth is pretty alright and has a neat kit, but I personally don't really have much fun using them. They're just not for me. Sephiroth I respect a lot, because they managed to give him a comeback mechanic that isn't absurdly broken, and doesn't make his game plan boil down to, wait for comeback mechanic, win. To me, Min Min is definitely the worst feeling character to play in the entire game. Her not having any specials and attacking with the B button just feels really bad. Doesn't help that she's a bit of a pain in the ass to fight, but she's not the worst. Terry is dope as hell and I love how he plays, but man is Go a poorly implemented mechanic. They really just took a perfectly fine character and went, if this character gets 100% or more, how about we give him an infinitely spammable super move? No. He should have 2 of them. Hero and Kazuya are funny as fuck for completely different reasons, and I love both of them for it. Having random critical hits on your smash attacks and randomly selected spells sounds like a horrible idea, but they gave him the shittiest normals in the game, so it works out. I also love how Kazuya has like 40 different moves, it's so fun. Though I must admit, it was pretty hard thinking of an idea for every single one of those moves when modding him for shit show. I also just think it's really cool that we now have a super heavy with an actual complex combo tree. Now about Joker. Remember when I said that Go was one of the most poorly implemented comeback mechanics in the game? Yeah, the worst ones are sent by a fucking mile. It pisses me off too because base Joker is like a fine character, and then they slapped a meter on him that turns him into the best character in the game. Yeah, Terry has 2 spammable super moves, but our send back air might as well be a super move. Oh, if we're talking about broken shit now, guess I better mention these assholes. What crack were they smoking when they were designing Mithra? This entire character is a hate crime. Literally, how did they think it was a good idea to give a character who has that range, frame data that rivals Sheik, as well as top 5 run speed? Not to mention that her one flaw, having no kill moves, can be bypassed at any time mid-match by switching to a character that has nothing but kill moves. I don't even know what to say about Steve. They didn't even attempt to balance building, and he has so much other shit besides that too. Up tilt and up air are completely safe on shield, and down tilt is fucking +5. Why does Anvil do so much shield damage? Who's the rat bastard that programmed Minecart? I think I should probably move on to the next question now. Do you think you'll make more long-form content in the future, or is it too much of a risk? Right now, my top priority is obviously, well, finishing Garbage and releasing that, but after that, I really don't know. I'd be open to doing more, it's just a matter of if I can think of anything to do. Favorite miscellaneous feature in a video game? I think Super Metroid having a fucking moonwalk option is great. More games should do that. Favorite voice actor? Honestly, I don't really have a favorite, but while I'm on this subject, when I went to NYC Comic-Con last year, I did manage to get Eric Vale's autograph, so that was pretty cool. If you had to be stuck with one hairstyle for the rest of your life and couldn't cover it up, what would you pick? Oh, you know I gotta go with the Josuke Pompadour. That shit fucks. Water without any ice. Or the newest season of The Simpsons. I'm more of a stale bread kind of guy myself. But if I had to pick, then water. If your mom's phone number was the amount of money you had in your bank account, how much money would you have? I'd have about $86,077,072.73. Of all the shitty memes that your community has created, what are your top 5? And on the other coin, what are your least favorite memes your community has created? In no particular order, it would be Chick Hicks, Walter Wednesday, Quaint, Fruit Cup, and of course, Bruno Mars SpongeBob. As for least favorite, it is also Fruit Cup. What are you most looking forward to experiencing in your life? You know, I'm not really sure. I don't tend to really think about the future all that much, as I usually just prefer living in the moment, in the here and now and all that stuff. Though, I guess if there's anything I'm looking forward to, it'd be moving out of the house and being on my own. Would you rather be able to teleport, but every time you do it, you change color like you're in a Tony Hawk Pro Skater character creator? Or, you can fly, but the higher you go, the more severe cold symptoms you get. Like 10 feet is a runny nose, 30 feet is a cough, 50 is a headache, and 70 feet is a fever, etc. It depends. Do those symptoms wear off when you stop flying that high and, go lower? And how bad are the symptoms in question? Is it a light cough, or is it a really, really bad cough? And how fast would I be able to fly? Would it just be my walk speed, or can I be like a fucking fighter jet? I'd go with the teleporting one, because if you just repeatedly teleport like a foot in front of you and back and forth and over again, you could basically re-roll yourself to be whatever color you want, and that's pretty cool. How many stairs can you jump down without hurting your legs? Good question, let me check. It's 5. What are your thoughts on Legends Arceus, and are you looking forward to Scarlet and Violet? Legends Arceus was fucking sick, I loved every second of it. Without a doubt the best Pokemon game I've played in years. Very happy to see that Scarlet and Violet is implementing some of that game's quality of life changes. Like being able to relearn moves just in a menu and not having to go to a tutor. Speaking of, Scarlet and Violet are looking pretty nice so far, but I'm not exactly looking forward to them, a lot, you know? I can't say right now whether or not I'm gonna get it, but who cares, I'm probably gonna be peer pressured into buying it again, just like with Sword and Shield. Speaking of, the more details we learn about terastallizing, the more it's solidified in my mind that this shit is gonna be banned on day 1. At least in singles anyway. A shame too, because it's actually a somewhat interesting gimmick. Definitely way more interesting than just bigger Pokemon. But unfortunately, from what we know so far, they have overtuned the fuck out of this. But yeah, Scarlet and Violet looks neat, Legends Arceus was great, and I want to become Mars' ancestor if you know what I'm saying. Are you in my walls? No, but the body is. Did you know Stevie Wonder made a documentary soundtrack about plants? No I did not. Are you gonna do any more major Earthbound or Mother-related content? Right now I don't have any ideas, but after Garbage is finished with, I'll probably do something. Probably won't be an Iceberg sequel, as that ship is long sailed. But yeah, not opposed to doing more Earthbound content. Will you notice me Don't call me that again. What's your favorite meme of all time? I have a few answers. As far as absolute favorites are concerned, I think it's gotta be that one image of Z Broly butt-ass naked and double-cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. Every variation of that never fails to amuse me. That and Sprite Cranberry. That one's just a classic through and through. Moving on to other good ones, I think the dude that made the Perfect Cell Ballin' video should get a Nobel Prize. Same could be said for this other video I'm about to show right now. However, I don't know the source or who made this, so if anyone happens to know the original creator of this, then tell me. Anyway, here it is.
If you land this, I'll give you a kiss.
Okay. Aw, damn.
If you land this one, I'll give you a kiss.
Oh my god!
Perfect. 10 out of 10. Literally Kino. Hamburger with or without cheese? Honestly, I could go either way. Really just depends on how good the burger itself is. What's your favorite Pokemon? Answered this one a bunch of years back, but it's Typhlosion. The first Pokemon game I ever played was the second Mystery Dungeon game, and the personality test may be a Cyndaquil. Fast forward a little while to where I played my first, actual Pokemon game, which was Heart Gold, and I see Cyndaquil as a starter option, and I'm like, yo, no fucking way, dude. And yeah, that evolution one's been my favorite since. Needless to say, I was very pleased that he was the fire starter again for Legends Arceus, and the Hisuian form is actually pretty cool. Fire Ghost is just a rat type combination. What are you studying in college? Do you plan on doing something related to games? I'm a computer science major, and funny you mentioned that second part because that's literally the track I'm on. Eventually I do plan on going into game development, though no idea when that's gonna be. Can you give us your best yippee? Ah shit, this is gonna be hard, but I'll try. Shit, that really hurts. If you could tell your 6-year younger past self something, what would you tell him? If there's anything at all that I could tell the past Jonah, it'd be to appreciate and savor all the time that you spend with your loved ones, because you never know when you're gonna lose them. Why did you make your channel? Also, why is your profile picture Ness? I've already answered this question probably multiple times, so I'll give the abridged version. Saw a bunch of Smash 4 combo videos back in the day, thought I could do the same thing with the funny mod pack. Get a capture card for Christmas, use it to make said video, upload it, expect to never do that again. A month later, the video blows up, I gain subscriber, cut to present day. And my profile picture is what it is because I made Ness and I thought that image was funny. When are you playing Ace Attorney? Soon. Bases or growths? From my very limited knowledge of Fire Emblem, bases? Best episode of Dragon Ball, Z, and Super. For Dragon Ball, it's the episode where Goku fights Grandpa Gohan. In Z, it's the one where Krillin throws a rock at Goku. And in Super, it's the one where Goku does that sliding shit versus Kefla. Top 10 Mewtwo's. Total number of bad bitches fumbled, currently 3. Favorite water bottle brand? I don't really have one. When is the second episode of the Fire Emblem playthrough? Oh yeah, forgot to mention, that's gonna be happening during Now That You Can Drink. What are you drinking? You know, the weekend after my birthday, I did go out with my friends to celebrate, and I planned to drink, but the bar at the place we were at was closed on that night specifically. Like, damn, I wanted to try drinking, but God said no, I guess. Well, sooner or later I'll find another excuse to try.
¿Quieres?
Nah, I'm good, thanks. Do you think I am well versed and knowledgeable in music? Certainly more than I am. If people don't ask questions, do you think I could host a segment on the Q&A where I give my own musical recommendations? I think it would be cool if I hosted my own segment on the Q&A. Can there be a segment in the upcoming Q&A where I talk about music, or could I host my own segment in the Q&A? Could I get people to ask me questions about music? Can I host my own segment on the Q&A? Could I send in a segment of me talking about music? Could I talk about music on the Q&A? I get the point, and no! Any cool stuff you wanted to add to Shit Show but couldn't because they couldn't be implemented? Yeah, when I first did Sonic, I wanted to give him a Zair that would just be the Fire Shield dash from Sonic 3, but I couldn't do it because giving characters entirely new moves is completely impossible. Like, Dark Samus's Zair, we could turn that into an air dash because she already has a Zair and we could just edit it to do that, but we can't give a character a new move that they just do not have normally. Of course, there are some clever workarounds to this issue. Hell, we've even done it a few times. But giving Sonic a Zair while keeping the rest of his moves intact just can't be done. Do you think people in your Q&A comments ask too many joke questions? Would you like to see more thoughtful questions, or are you fine with people being goofier? I'm pretty content with the balance I have right now between serious questions and like goofy shit. I will say that this one has had some of the most thoughtful questions I've had so far, and that's pretty neat. Would you rather live with no legs or no nose? No nose. I like walking too much to give up legs. Who is your most favorite cat that you've met? So my family has always had cats, even before I was even born, and even just throughout my lifetime we've had 10 different cats. Most we've had at one time is 5. And like with children, you're not really supposed to have any favorites. However, my favorite cat that I've ever had has to be Oliver. Originally, he wasn't even our cat, he was our neighbor's, but said neighbor was an old lady who was living alone who really was not fit to take care of a cat at her age. As in, she'd let him outside and it'd be sometimes days before she even let him back in. He'd always come up to our porch wanting to be let in, but we never did because he wasn't our cat. Till one night when it was a really bad storm outside and he was outside on our porch wanting to be let in. I distinctly remember my sister begging my mom to let him in because of how bad it was outside, and eventually she caved and let him in. From then on, we'd sometimes let him inside and feed him, and eventually when our neighbor moved out, her family just let us keep him. Oliver was one of the most chill cats I ever knew. You could grab him and pick him up whenever and he just wouldn't care. Heck, a few times I laid my head on him like a pillow and he didn't even budge. He also had a habit of just lying down in the middle of the floor whenever, at like the most inconvenient times. Like, it was very often that while my mom was in the kitchen making dinner, he would just be lying down on the floor in the middle of the kitchen and she just had to move around him. He really didn't give a fuck. Though he was still an outdoor cat. And if he wanted to go outside and no one would let him, he would essentially start to throw a tantrum and just piss on the furniture. It's not like he wasn't litter box trained, he was. No, he was doing that shit on purpose. He'd also occasionally do it on other parts of the house to mark his territory. So many times we'd be cleaning a room and then notice a streak of Oliver piss on the wall. Even today, we still on occasion find a dried up pee mark in some random spot in the house. And he's been dead for 4 years. When he did go outside, he'd often hunt the small creatures out in the yard, like rabbits and chipmunks and what have you. But unlike one of our current cats, Jerry, he didn't just kill it and leave behind a corpse for one of us to have to clean up. No, we never usually had to clean up any of Oliver's victims, cause he ate everything, even the bones. However, even with all of his quirky attributes, he got along with most of our other cats, and was overall very sweet around people. Oliver was my favorite, and I still miss him even today. Do you ever sneeze and your arms hurt? Not as a direct result of the sneeze, no. What are your thoughts on the Mario movie teaser? They hyped it up so much and it hardly showed anything. And then everyone afterwards was rushing to have an opinion on Chris Pratt's Mario voice, but like, we only got 2 lines of dialogue from him. I can't form an opinion off of that. Granted, both lines of dialogue were not very promising, but it's kinda fucked up how that teaser showed off more penguins than Mario. Like shit, we didn't even get to hear Luigi. Though out of what we did hear, Jack Black Bowser was definitely the best one, unsurprisingly. I don't know, man, I just need to see more footage before I can make a judgment call. Where are you hiding the body? Not in the walls, definitely not in the walls. What is the One Piece? And is it in fact real? Oh, I've got one piece for ya. One piece of this dick, got him! Can we get much higher? Femboys or tomboys? Serious question. Tomboys because I'm not into men. Do you yield?
No.
Where do you get the ideas for your VGM mashups? Can we expect more? Honestly, I just make those as an excuse to play around with whatever sound font I feel like doing in FL Studio. I've been doing it from time to time for years now. Mostly just do them for myself, but if one turns out particularly well then I'll upload it. Do you like rats? Honestly pretty neutral on them. Never really had strong feelings for them. Would you? Would you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Asshole. What were some major obstacles when making Garbage 2 and how did you overcome them? I think the hardest parts of making Garbage were at the very beginning, in the middle, and right now. Very beginning was hard because editing code in Smash Ultimate is very different from how it worked from Smash 4. Took a little bit to get used to it. Though once we did, we got the first like 10 or so characters done very fast. Because the first ones we tackled were characters who we either play normally, or have had ideas lingering in our minds for a while now. Which leads into the middle. Okay, maybe not the middle, but like 50 to 60 characters in. By then, we've pretty much exhausted all the options for characters that we're familiar with, and we could feel our options for characters become more and more limited. But at the same time, we still had a lot left to go, and the next move wasn't completely obvious. Once we got out of like the mid-60s or so, we managed to get a concrete plan of who we're going to tackle in what order going forward, which we've stuck to mostly. Which leads into right now, or more specifically the past like 3-ish months. By the time we hit like the late 70s, most of the characters left we either had no fucking clue what to do, or characters where we knew exactly what we were gonna do, but we're purposefully procrastinating on because we knew it was gonna be a lot of work. Like, we only have 2 characters left, but they're gonna be the most intensive ones by far. We've been chipping away at them along with other things, but it's still pretty intimidating, you know? Also, we've been going back and polishing more of the non-gameplay stuff for the mod pack to get ready for the actual release. And not gonna lie, it's a little scary now that it's this close. But overall, I do think progress has been good, and I don't think it'll be that much longer until we're ready. And I'm not making a promise like how last Q&A I promised that we could be done by the spring of this year. No, I swear on my fucking life that this is gonna be finished before Christmas. Actually, I swear on Mooey's life too. We are men of our word. Are you anywhere where you think you wanted to be at 21? It's strange. In some ways, I feel like I've changed a lot, even from just 3 years ago. But in other ways, I feel like I've barely changed at all. I'm definitely better off now than I was before. I have a decent amount of friends, I do a fair amount of things on campus, and I see those friends more frequently than I used to. But I did think that by 21 I'd have a lot more to show for it. I can't help but wonder where my social life would be at right now if the pandemic didn't essentially delete a year and send me back to square one by the time last fall came around. Though, at the start of last fall, I didn't think I'd be able to get to where I am now in such a short amount of time, yet I was wrong. Maybe I'm not exactly where I was hoping I'd be by this time, but given the circumstances, I think I'm in an alright spot. And that's gonna do it for today. Once again, thanks to everyone who participated in this. A little crazy how this idea is still working 6 years later. And immense apologies on my end for how late this came out. It has been one hell of a 2 weeks since the questions closed. That weekend I went out, killed my voice so I couldn't record anything on that Sunday, and that following week I had a paper due, a quiz, and 2 midterms, and on top of that I got a cold. So even in between studying I couldn't record because I sounded like shit. That's why I couldn't start recording until like the beginning of this week. But in any case, I hope this was worth the wait. As far as updates are concerned, I'ma just be working extra hard to finish garbage and make sure it's out in a timely manner. And until that happens, I don't have any more plans to upload stuff, unless a random meme idea pops into my head, which is always possible. So I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you when I see you.